Hey, so today we don't really have anything as people are coming in. There's not really anything for Zoom. What I'm going to show you is, or talk about real quick, is to make sure that you have submitted your sketch. If it was late, you got like a message that it was late or whatnot, and that you might incur a penalty of some sort, like a grading penalty. Um, Some people I'm messaging right now on there. Um, some people like messed up on the front view and didn't provide scaling. So double check that you have fixed your front view and you have provided scaling. Some people didn't turn theirs in, and you needed to turn it in. See like blank canvases for some people. Some people I think maybe forgot to hit the submit button, or maybe they didn't finish. They needed their 3D view and all that. Something to kind of consider. So I think at this point we have like what, 2 people that didn't turn it in, but then we have some people that need to go and make some changes. So there is that. Otherwise, other things I want to touch on real quick. Again, let me know if you have supplies or want everything ready. Um, I am planning for this to be due come by like Tuesday of next week ish to be built. So you can, if you've been hit with the approve, you are ready to go. You can start building. So yeah. And you can probably find more supplies this next week, with this weekend coming up as well. I essentially am trying to do this so that way you give me enough time to put in the grades for that come before spring break. That makes sense, right? And then you don't have to worry about anything during spring break. No tests, no project. You're just doing your break. And so that's why I need it by like before the middle of next week. But I figured that would I figured that would be a thing for everyone to get through. Does that make sense? Throw a yes in the chat if what I said made sense. All right, cool. So again, double check your area over here. I'll share my screen really quick for this. This multi-view sketch submission. Make sure you had your front side 3D/isometric. Have the scaling on there. I saw some people actually just put the dimensions on there. I was going to be a real big stickler and be like, well, I need you to put on graph paper. But the ones I saw that put their dimensions and I approved did a really good job. Like they even put the dimensions on the 3D view where they put it like, oh, this here, this length is X amount, this X amount of inches. And so I was like, yeah, I'll take that. That it looked really clean, which was nice. But the big reason why I wanted most people to put it on graph paper to begin with is because a lot of people are not good at creating decent measurements of scale or making sure that it looks proportional to their scaling. But the people who did those dimensions did a really good job of it. So I went ahead and approved those. Also, it puts it in perspective whenever you have to use the squares, how large something has to be, because you'll sit there and be like, oh, wow, this, I'm 2 squares high, which should be 2 inches. But when I do it at an angle, it's actually a little bit longer or a little bit shorter, so on and so forth. These are things to take into consideration. So with that in mind, I will stay here silently in Zoom. You can ask me questions or ask me of any concerns. I'll do a quick poll before we go on the supply status, and I'll put it as anonymous. So it'd be like, hey, do you have your supplies? Okay. All right, there you go. So there's three choices: yes, not yet, or you can't get them. If you can't get them, then I have to give you a different assignment. Not yet means you should be able to get them before the time of the project being due is there. So I know some people aren't in here to. All right, so pretty much everyone answered. Yeah, there's only one person who hasn't gotten them yet, so it's good. It's good news. All right, with that being said, you can start. If you've been hit with the approve button, you can start working on everything. If you haven't been approved, make sure you double check your multi-view sketch. I think somebody messed up on their multi-view sketch recently. Remember, whenever you look at the front of an object, and I say the front view, you are not going to be, you shouldn't be able to see the sides of any way. There should be no depth to it. It should be practically a square. Because when you look at an object correctly with one eye and you place it right in front of your eye, you can't see around it. You can only see what's in front. Because people will draw their side view completely flat, but not draw their front view completely flat. Think about it. If your side view is completely flat and you chose, let's say, I'll turn on my camera for this one real quick. If you're saying this is your side view with this eraser and you don't see the sides of it, what if I told you this was the side view? Shouldn't it be flat? I don't see you adding 3D to the side view or perspective or depth. Think about that. Should be completely flat as well. It's just easier to conceptualize that on the bridge because the bridge has trusses on the side, but the front is just a frame. It should just look like the frame of the bridge. No depth to it, because if you think about it, when you see depth, it's because you see two eyes converging on a spot or coming from this side looking inwards. That's what gives you depth. If you close one eye, you lose depth perception because you're seeing things flat right in front of you. If you hold something to your center of your nose, if you hold your finger to your nose, you can kind of see around it sometimes. Why can you see around it sometimes? Well, because your eye is looking from one side converging inwards. But if you were to hold it directly in front of one eye, you can't see anywhere around it. It's completely like a flat looking 2D image. So something to keep in consideration. That's how you're supposed to approach the front, the top, and the side views. Only the 3D looks 3D, or the isometric view. On that note, I'm gonna mute my mic. you still have work to do, you can stick around. Make sure you don't start on it until you see the approved little thing from me. Again, I think only 2 people didn't have theirs approved because some small little errors. And I think 2 people haven't turned theirs in. So yeah, turn it in. All right. If you're going to work on your stuff, make sure you're in you have a safe environment to work on. I recommend that if you have cardboard that you can lay down or wax paper, that's really helpful when building, makes things not stick. And a pinch, you can also use aluminum foil. That also works too. So there's that. Muting, if you can get off if you're going to go work on your stuff and build your bridge. Take care. Looking forward to seeing all your stuff.